Hello and welcome back to the channel. Um, and you see in the description the official trailer for Superman dropped a few days ago. I have been um, letting it like marinate and letting it just soak in and thinking about it. So I'm going to go through that and a number of other things. I want to recommend right now that we'll go to this. You take a look and at the DC channel. Go to the DC channel. You can type in Superman um, in the search little thing, and it'll give you search official trailer, official teaser, sneak peek, uh, and a variety of other things. Okay, uh, these are little clips and such, and I'm not gonna go over all of these this way. We'll go into the trailer. That was the official teaser. This is the official trailer. Um, so let me start out. Let me see how I want to start this out. This is better than what's come before. Now, I will grant you this. It hasn't been much that came before, right? We're now at the right now we're in the 17th day of May, but this came out on the 14th, right? Right about the middle of the month. Um, and the movie's coming out July the 11th. I should be looking at you instead of, but the movie's coming out July 11th, and instead of um, um, trying to be really critical and go through the critical things, which I will do. But I want to just tell you this is much better, and I think sells the movie better than what came before. And there's just some pluses to it. Now I have watched the trailer itself a number of times, and have also watched um, dozens and dozens of reactions. I mean, I've been spending the last few days from when it came out. I watched it immediately when I saw a release of it when it came out, and then I watched it again from the YouTube channel. There was a link somewhere to the trailer first, but then watched it. After that, I started watching trailer reactions and what people thought about it. And people have voiced their opinions. And of course, there's a lot of praise out there. As I play this, I'm probably going to get copyright claims, which is going to prevent me from being able to either speak during it or for you to hear it during it on YouTube. Okay, if you go over to Rumble, you can see the entire thing uncut. But if you're watching it on YouTube and you see um, mutes and stuff like that, then it's that reason. They might even copyright claim the videos, which will make uh, cuts have to be put into the YouTube presentation of it. So, just so you know, just so you're aware, and other people said that you check Angry Joe and others, they are notorious. WB is claiming copyrights. You know, at least they claim copyrights on every last thing that I've done with these. So anyway, I am. Let me put it this way: I'm intrigued. I want to watch this movie to see how the plot line is going to go, because all the trailers do it different orders of different things. You can see in there where they put a scene somewhere where it really doesn't belong in the movie, and it's going to play out differently in the movie. So I am intrigued to know about that. I want to be. I am a Superman fan, and I love Superman, and I love most iterations of Superman. I mean, the vast majority of them that you could show me, I love 'em. I grew up with Super Friends. Okay, I grew up with that show, watching it when I got home from kindergarten. I was watching it, and before that, and probably after that, I'm just saying, I watched the Super Friends. Okay, um, I love Superman. I love the iterations of Superman. I grew up with John Burns uh, restart of Superman after the Crisis thing. So, I love Superman. There's certain iterations that I like perhaps less, or I would say that's not the Superman I grew up with. So therefore, while I enjoy the character, I'm not going to, attach myself as much to those, if that makes sense. That I hope that does make sense. And just got finished reading Superman Birthright. I forgot the name of the Wade, I believe, is the um, author's name, but whatever it is, you check it out. But Superman Birthright, and I thought that this is excellent. There's a little bit that I don't connect with necessarily, or I dislike, or I think could have been done differently. Um, and that's well within the bounds of criticism. However, I'm not saying that it really. It's those are things that wouldn't have made a difference. Okay, in the actual storytelling and presented it. The same thing is true about John Byrne. His take on Superman, I love in its entirety, and but that doesn't mean at every little point I like it. Okay, there's things that I think would have been better done differently. It'll be that way from uh, for all of our lives in anything that we like as far as entertainment and that kind of thing. Uh, and we're going to have our different preferences. Okay, entertainment, art, you know, all that stuff. We're going to have our preferences. However, I'm a Superman fan. I love Superman, and I am not excited for this movie in that vein. I want to see what they're going to do. I'm curious. I want to see that, but it's not made me say, "Hey, this looks like a Superman that I just really have to see because Superman." Okay, I could I could wind up with a completely different opinion after watching the movie. Watching the movie is, and maybe watching it a few times, is when I am able to say definitively for me, this is how I feel about the movie. Uh, so I am intrigued. I want to see this movie. I'm looking forward to seeing the movie. We only have 2 months left. Again, July 11th is when it comes out. Less than 2 months. The the first official trailer just came out, which means the teasers and the sneak peeks and stuff like that is not a trailer, right? Supposedly, I look at them and I think that's the same thing. That's a trailer. The extended trailer is just an extended, version of that. The 4 minutes and 51 seconds that they're calling 5 minutes. It was only the scene itself was only like what 3 minutes maybe, if that, and then it had the rest of the previous teaser trailer. 2 minutes and 20 seconds on the teaser trailer, I believe. Yeah, 2:19 from DC itself. It's a 3 minutes and 2 seconds, so it's right about 3 minutes for the official trailer. There's a TV spot icon that I want to talk about a little bit. The sneak peek is 4 minutes 50 seconds long. The behind the scenes that came out. Now, the behind the scenes at that time was, I thought, the best piece of marketing that they had. This official trailer, I think, is as good, maybe better, but as good, I think. 2 minutes and 17 seconds. And then there's the official Hammer of Bravia. It says TV spot number 5, 15 seconds. And there was a Milk-Bone commercial. It's a minute and 12 seconds mostly. Crypto, but several things. And I don't know whether or not we'll go over these specifically, but I watched most of them in 0.25 um, to really get down into. There's another thing here that is Ping Pong Flicks is the channel, and go and watch him. He's excited about the movie, looking forward to it. But he pointed out something that I had not seen, so I wanted to at least go to that too. But yeah, I'm looking at this and saying there's a lot in here that I think that was a better presentation than the previous stuff. So uh, there's an improvement going on in several ways. In some ways, let me point one out, is not necessarily a criticism. It sort of is, because somebody out there was criticizing this. And I'm not going to say who. I don't know for sure who it was. I'll tell you what I heard, and we'll go on from there. But Superman gets a can thrown at his head. All right. Now, it's not in the behind the scenes, special look, but and I'm not sure whether or not they cut it from the extended version. But anyway, whatever it was, a man throws a can at Superman's head. Let me just go over to it here. After whatever reason it is, they're upset at him, and here we go. He's about to throw this can, and we're watching it slow. And he blinks, right? I just paused it where he blinks. Superman blinks it right there. There may be a slight movement of the head. The hair certainly moves and stuff like that. But he blinks, so he flinches with that hit to his head. All right, and it is blurred. I'm trying to think of how to say this, but anyway, in a lot of reactions, I heard people saying, "Well, yeah, there was a complaint that he flinched, and so therefore, in this trailer, when you get to that point, where is it? Is it early on? Yeah, it's early on. We'll just go ahead and go to it, so you can see what I'm talking about. All right. He does not blink. Now, his head's moved forward a little bit. That could have been from the movement and all that. I don't know. It's like he braces for it, perhaps, but whether or not he doesn't blink anymore, right? And it had evaded my senses that that they they went to blurring him, because I want to say, I mean, it comes out of the blur pretty quickly, but he does not blink it now. So they corrected that. James Gunn and company said, okay, well, somebody complained that there's a blink there, so it may be that the criticisms that are being heard that are legitimate, not the ones that are not legitimate, but the ones that are legitimate, um, they're being heard and they're being dealt with like this. Perhaps that's a possibility. Now, I'm not going to play this at that slow speed and and have and I'm not going to play it with the sound on it, because you can go to DC's channel and watch that. So let me stay with you. Um, yeah, we'll stay with it that way. So we'll go to basically normal speed, when you normal speed, and we'll watch it. Now, I will tell you this though, while I'm talking about it, the criticism about the blinking of the eye, the flinching, uh, I didn't hear it that way. When the first thing I heard was shocking to me was that somebody was so excited about that one shot because he doesn't even flinch. That's what I heard. And I thought, why are you you're like exaggerating your excitement for this? Because you're saying something that is obviously not true. It's blatantly false. Okay? It really is not so. So why would you do that? I don't like when people don't uh, are not being truthful. And either the person just totally missed it, or they were, like I said, they're just overhyped, exaggerated, saying, "Oh, this is so great. He doesn't even flinch," but he did. Obviously, they corrected it. Now he doesn't even flinch. I'm glad to welcome that praise from you. You just, be happy about it all day long. That's great, and that is cool. He wouldn't flinch, so he didn't do it. I understand. Uh, but however, I could argue for him being able to flinch. Somebody hit him in the back of the head. He closes his eyes for a second. It's like, why am I being, you know, this? Why is this attack going on? I could take it from that point of view. So it it doesn't matter. I would rather give the benefit of the doubt. I really would. I would rather give the benefit of the doubt and say that you could you could argue for it either way, you know, and I'm good with that, and I would do that. The things that bother me, because they bother me. The visual aspects of things um, boil down to just a few things. Okay, the storytelling part of it is possibly worse. That's a lot of behind the scenes questions and a lot of theorizing on the part of fans. Okay, so we're guessing at how the story's going to go. What order of events is this going to go? If I were to say what the order of events was, I would think that it's going to open on that war scene. Superman's going to come in and do something. Maybe that's when the buildings fall and Superman's floating in the dust in it. We'll see that in a second. Um, Perhaps that's what's going on. And then the interview happens. Or, and I'm not saying this like in continuity there. I'm just saying the order of events as the movie goes about. Um, After that, there's a conflict with the fight with Ultraman and the Authority. I think it's the Authority, the woman that her hands turn into saw blades, and she throws saw blades at Superman. Yeah. So there's a fight that happens in the stadium, um, and I assume that they take him into custody and walk him out of that, and you'll see the custody part of it, because his suit is fairly clean, and he at some point after getting into custody, he gets his head slammed into the concrete. And at that point, or after that point, is when he flies and hits the ground in the Arctic. The Arctic. And then is healed, that we saw in the last trailer, the sneak peek trailer. And then after that, he somehow goes to Smallville um, to recuperate, and his suit is dirty and it's a mess, but it's not burnt yet. So he has not encountered the kaiju yet, and I think that he sees the kaiju on uh, a news report, which is when Ma Kent talks to him, and he begins to take his farm clothes off to put on his Superman outfit, goes to fight the kaiju, gets the charged suit. Whenever the charged suit is there, that's after the encounter with the kaiju. Now that's my theory of order of events. Unless he gets a new suit after that that's cleaned up, that he's fighting somewhere else. The Hammer of Baravia is in that the person in that looks like, to me it looked like I said in the last video, what would be Lex Luthor's battle armor to fight Superman in. And that's kind of what I was thinking toward what it was. And it could be that. It seems to me that character though is in Metropolis, and where he's shooting the laser beam into the building and all of that. So That seems to me to be there again before the kaiju, before the charred suit. Now, after the charred suit, there's the scene in the apartment because he's in the charred suit, as the first image that was released shows us that he was in the charred suit, sitting there putting on, pulling up his boots, and he's there with Lois Lane, and the scene behind outside the window is happening, and stuff's going on. So, how much of this is happening at what time? I don't know. That would be my theory for the order of events, and I don't know what would follow that afterwards. I don't know toward how the movie would end, what it would be. I don't have a clue. At this point, I don't have a clue. That said, let me go to this and show you this part of this scene. So again, ping pong flicks, and you go to 1 minute and 50 seconds, and he shows from a um, like a TV spot or something, a, a really brief clip. I forget what it was. You can see from him what it is. It's got a quick couple of scenes, is what it does. So let's watch the second. He shows Superman flying toward camera. So there, I'm taking a few thoughts about this when I see it. Okay, now I'm gonna get a little bit closer. Now, the first thing I thought when I saw it was the Superman emblem is not that large. It's not that big on the other shots that I've seen with him. It 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 seems to be larger. Now that may be just because it's a little bit closer, um, and it's a little bit. The body frame is somewhat slightly exaggerated differently because of the closeness of the camera. Perhaps that might be what it is. Um, but there's a few things here. So it still looks like the same suit. It's still got the collar, it's still got the lines, it's all of that. It looks slightly tighter. It may be just the way he's wearing it, though. Still got the lines in these other places as well. So nothing has necessarily changed there. Um, I will uh, point out in a moment some of these other things. But anyway, if you're looking at, of course, you're seeing this backwards, and that's fine. I've got it backwards just to try to avoid the copyright claims on the video. But yeah, this it just popped out to me like this is larger than I think it actually is. But if his shoulders are somewhat forward, and you got, um, you know, um, more of the blue field in your vision, then it's going to look a little smaller than that. That was first glance, but anyway, uh, that's kind of what I thought. Now the other thing is, I see a distinct difference between this and the Icon TV spot where it shows him flying. He does the flip and then comes into frame, and it has a peculiar look to it that I stand by saying that's weird. Okay, so be that as it may, though, let's go back to the trailer, the official trailer. We'll watch it. Um, put the volume right there, and we'll see what happens. And I'll try to pause it to comment on anything I need to. And comment below and let me know if you think my order of events is wrong. But I think I track where the suit is charred in the pictures, and that's kind of where I put the theory. Unless he changes outfits, puts on a new Superman suit, then I think that's kind of where it falls. Of course, this could be episodic, where it tells one story, it tells another story in a different place, and it's all over the place as far as where he could have a clean suit, but all the charred parts are probably the kaiju attack. Um, and it would be interesting if the kaiju attack is the climax of the film. That doesn't seem to be the way most people think it's going to be. Uh, However, it could be the way it is. I'm not 100% sure. But let's see. Let's try to follow this. Going to start out with interview. And I'm going to say this before we get started. There's a division of thoughts and ideas about how this interview goes. Some people are so super excited about exactly everything about it and think it's so great. And other people have different thoughts, and they mainly center around the voice of Clark slash Superman. Um, the Clark starts out really high pitched. Could just be the way that take was. May not be the way he's normally talks, but some people are saying that's the way he's normally talking. And then when he talks like Superman, then the octaves drop a little bit, and so forth. Um, but then he gets frustrated, and that's where the division really comes in. Is Superman going to get frustrated speaking to Lois like this and being interviewed, getting hard questions? Is he going to get frustrated, or is he not? And you comment below. Let me know. You think he's going to get frustrated or not? I'm going to take the side of he's going to be less frustrated than he shows in the film, uh, at least as we have it in this release. I do think there's a lot more that leads up to it because James Gunn has said that it's 12 minutes long. So we get 30 seconds of it. Please, I mean, there could be a whole lot that happens between that, you know, 30 seconds expanded to 12 minutes. So here we go. Um, this seems like two different places, what you just saw with this building. I noticed this looks like there's some kind of damage here, but there's a lot of shadows and stuff here. So I don't think this, at least it's not the same time frame. This could be the crater that we see a little bit later on, but I can't really tell because there should be a sidewalk that the crater's inside the sidewalk. So I'm not sure that that would be what it is. I didn't see Superman walking around here, but in the shadows and stuff like that that's here, there's there's no shadows in the next thing. I do think it's around that though, because you got the cracked and destroyed buildings in these areas, right? Um, that is apparently, I would assume, the damage from the kaiju, which means he's got the burnt suit. Now the next scene does go into the following moment of the can being thrown at his head. So we know those two are there, and again, burnt suit means the kaiju's attack has happened already. So there's more to the movie after that because he goes into the building, he's staring at the Stag Industries um, screen and the Justice League. I'm not even calling them the Justice Gang. I'm not going to be hypercritical about this. The Justice League walks in um, uh, to do whatever they're going to do with Superman, right? Um, but uh, so I was saying there's more after that that happens, and it'll be very interesting. I'm intrigued to find out what they're going to do to fill out this movie that we've seen maybe 10 minutes worth of. I'm being generous saying 10 minutes worth of the film, and it's a 2 hour film. Okay, so there's a lot more they can do. All right, so anyway, I'll leave it at that. But I don't think that these line up. There's a break in the road here, concrete break. Um, yeah, so I'll bring in any other possible theories a little bit later. Okay, so again, that this here does not follow that um, tank shooting shot. That is not. This is. It's not following that. This is uh, whatever time frame it is. This is the kaiju attack, and the cannon of the tank going off is something else. Uh, but again, we'll be interested to see what happens. Does he stop that? cannon shot against the civilians you see over on the one side of the screen is the civilians, on the other side of the screen is the tanks and military vehicles. And later we see Guy Gardner swat away a military vehicle uh, somewhere in there. So, and this is that same area. And I don't know whether they're not there at the beach, because it was said that Mr. Terrific was with, well, I believe he's with Lois Lane um, at the beach. But it looked to me like it could be that same area right there. But I don't know. Don't know for sure. These are cool shots too. This is a cool shot. Uh, him coming out of the fire. Now, earlier in other videos, it looked like he was blocking the fire, but then he flew out of it or he flew through the fire. Not sure which. But this is probably immediately before he says, "Hey, buddy, eyes here." Which you'll see in a second. Um, if it isn't, great. That just means there's more to the movie than I know of. But this is possibly right before that moment. Um, but yeah, we'd have to go between the two different. And somebody may know. Put in comments below if you found a video that's weaving the two um, trailers together. That would be interesting to see, I think. But yes, here we go. Let's keep going.
This is how you're.
All right, and so you see he's not charred. The suit still, I do not like it. I dislike the way it looks in a lot of different ways. It's not because of the colors. It's not that. To me, the Superman emblem is too small. Slightly, maybe, but it's a little too small. Um, I still say he looks like Dad Bod Superman. There's several shots in this trailer that lend toward that. You can believe what you want to believe and look at the way you want to look. But I do see it, and I do get a reminding toward the direction of Christopher Reeve's outfit. He would look better in a spandex Superman outfit that was more like Christopher Reeve's outfit. So I will say that this is much hiding of his muscularity of what I believe David Gordon Sweat has for what he built up for his muscles. Again, it's up to you whether you like it or not. It's not going to ruin the film for me to not like this suit. To me, he does waddle in this scene, but he waddled a lot worse in the behind the scenes footage. So they either chose not to use some of that or they fixed some of it. To me, the Authority has a strange walk, but assuming that the Authority is mechanical, because I don't know the character of the Authority. But this, you'll see, the skin gets torn a little bit later on when Crypto punches or kicks her face. So she's something metal underneath, and that's some kind of fake skin in the outfit, obviously. So maybe she's a robot, and the way she walks is attributable to that. But it's just something I noticed. I'm gonna clip just back to there. There's a little bit of a turn to Superman at this moment that I saw earlier. Like he wasn't walking straight, but he was sort of turned toward this other. Um, he, I was about to say hero, just this soldier here. Um, but yeah, whatever the case is, I'm not sure, uh, or what exactly happens there. We'll see probably in a little bit. You see, she's not walking either, so they may be both facing that way for some reason. She's obviously facing that direction, the Authority here. Um, but then it's time to keep going. Let me just click one more back. Oh, she's actually turned around and is turning back around. So this is before, perhaps, the scene that came just before that where they're walking. Or no, no, no. I pulled it back. I like that they stopped that shot there uh, before the little girl's neck was broken. That's very good. Uh, but anyway, it is a very beautiful shot, very amazing shot that the he is saving a child, and I've seen the picture afterwards where she's run off to her dad. So I mean, I I like that. I'm good with that. I got no problem. The you know the criticism that I have is that he pushes her head down too far. My opinion. And other people have agreed without me telling them that little girl's neck should uh, not be bent so far. I'm being as nice as I can right now. So, um, nevertheless, amazing save. Just some choices. And maybe they're fixing it. Maybe it's like that blink of the eyes in that other shot. That, oh, we'll fix this, no problem. Not done the same way. Now, this is that whole escalating of the argument that it maybe should not be that extreme, perhaps. Perhaps it's just perfectly fine. And when I see the movie, I'll see if it's engaged me throughout this entire discussion to that point there. Maybe it's not 12 minutes long, but that's what we've been told. So let's go on and keep watching.
Myself in the same situation and consider the
Now, there is um, I'll do this for a second because I want you to see it. There he is. Um, may or may not be able. There we go. See the cape? That looks to me like Superman's cape. You go right there behind my face. Yeah, Superman's cape over there on the side of the screen as he starts the hammer Bravia starts to blast the window. Of course, people are in there. They're all going to go ducking and covering and everything. Um, all fine and dandy. Nice shot. It's pretty interesting. Why is he there? What time of the movie is this? Is it Lex Luthor or not? Um, is it really close to the beginning of the movie with the war, or does he come um, to fight Superman in Metropolis? Is Baravia full of skyscrapers? Who knows? I don't know. And but his costume is not burnt. Superman's costume is not charred. So prior to kaiju, right? I think. Okay, so they take care of that. You see this shot again from the inside of the building with the woman, um, probably Miss Tessmacher, uh, taking the shot. I don't know because I don't know the actress and I'm not super familiar. Some people were saying that she was also in another part of the trailer, but those two didn't line up as far as what they look like together. Uh, but let's keep going with this. Hmm. Now I'm wondering, just from looking at this, if this is the top of a building, if he's standing on a building and looking toward this other building and blasting it, it's possible that he's on a rooftop. So That's another thing for you eagle eyes to look at really good there. So he stops in the air there, so it's not that shot where he flies up into the sun. Is not directly connected to. In fact, not sure about that one still. It's too difficult to see in some of these very fast moments. Now, I will say that um, there are some people that are so excited about various things that are nothing new, say. They're acting like it's new. Like this has never been done before. He flies so fast. Yeah, it's been done before. Okay. There was a you can see it on DC. It's one of their shorts. Uh, there's a quick blurb before this came out. The day before this came out, there was a shot of Superman and Crypto sitting, and they kind of made it on the building, and it backs or they back out of the frame or goes through them to show just Metropolis sitting there, and then it shows a snap of the clouds like blowing, and Superman makes a fly by. So go check that out and compare it to the Icon TV spot, and you should see the difference that I see. But we'll keep going um, and see what else we can find. And this is the Justice League building. There's the icon of the Justice League on this building above that V shape. So let's keep going. This moment, I'm gonna back it up because people don't seem to follow it too well.
Choice.
See that? It's right there. Crypto is punching her in the face or slapping, whatever you might want to call it, scraping her face. Some people say this is a little bit wonky, and so it's just special effects. This dog is humongous. Maybe the girl is little. I don't know. But anyway, I'm I'm not sure about the size of the dog. I said that before in the other trailer. The dog's size seems a mixture. Now, the dog that it was based on is a smaller dog, quite a bit smaller than what this dog appears to be. Okay, this dog is larger, but not necessarily huge. I'm just saying that the James Gunn's dog that Crypto has been based on, the form of the dog, not Crypto himself. Um, well, that may be true too, but again, I haven't seen the whole movie. But smaller dog. But this does, in that sense, it does look a little bit off. Maybe it's just an elongated shot. But that if you were to put toe to the end of his paw, um, he's almost as tall as that woman. From one end of the paw to the back end of the paw. You let me know what you think about that. That I just noticed it. It just looks a little bit strange as far as the size. So we'll back up. One will not accept that. This is so. This is interesting. Um, it looks like he dodges one of these um, blades, and then he hits the next one. Now again, I say Dad Bod Superman. You can tell. I'll just give you a moment to let it sink in. One of the people I watched, said they got vibes of Brendan Fraser. I was like, yeah. And he was a possibility of becoming a Superman at one time. I was like, yeah, that could have been pretty cool at that time. At that time. I wouldn't necessarily say now, at that time. But if he was now, definitely Dad Bod Superman. unless he gets on it. I'm not sure that he would. Uh, but he looks okay. I'm just saying he has increased his weight in his later years, and of course he did a movie, gained a lot of weight for that. But let's go on from here. Um, so anyway, I've let it sink in long enough. Now that was the Authority as well. See, that is not the um, Ultraman. They've confirmed it's Ultraman. It came out in the children's toys that's DC's Ultraman, and he's in purple, somewhat a purple outfit in the in the in the toy. Now, of course, that may have been that shot of that toy or something like that. Maybe he's not that purple, but he seems to be. Okay, nevertheless, let's go ahead and turn this back on and keep watching some.
Accept that.
Because Lex Luthor says he can't accept it. This uh, design here, and it looks like it's breaking the building over here. I'm assuming that the kaiju is coming out of this. That this is something that they keep talking about pocket dimensions and stuff like that. And if that's true, uh, that or Metamorpho is doing something to this. I don't know what it could be doing, but in any case, this split of the water and forming, it looks like, of a barrier to hold the water on both sides. It looks to me like this is something that's going to allow the kaiju to come out of it and go this direction, and walk down this alleyway and do whatever he's going to do and start burning buildings and whatnot. So there you go. Shout out to the young lady who back in chemistry class in sophomore, junior year, I don't remember, said and whatnot repeatedly in her presentation. I don't remember her name. I apologize. But you have introduced a phrase to me that I've used from time to time in the last 30 something years. I hope you're happy. Yeah. Nicholas Hoult can play angry. That's true. That's definitely true. Uh, so that'll be intense, right? And can we tell what this is over here? That's just part of that building. Is that where he walks away? Well, you see his cross-striped suit, so we could look at other shots and see where that comes in at. A lot of people really liking the not only the fact that Martha is alive, which some people were worried about after the first video, not seeing her. They like all of it, I guess. But don't mistake what she said. She did not say I made your boots or I finished your boots. She said I cleaned your boots. This comes after something that caused his suit to be dirty in some way. That's what it's talking about. So I have got to do this because otherwise nobody will believe me. Beautiful shot. I don't dislike much of anything or anything at all about that. This is all done really well. It all looks great. It looks beautiful. Whether or not his eyes are crossed, nobody knows. Alright? But you can see it a little bit better on the little screen. But you see it there as well. The shot for his chest is weird. And I stand by that. It is bulging out. That is, I repeat myself too much. It is too much. It is just out there. It is more rounded even than that shot, just slightly so. It just seems ridiculous to me to even try to defend this roundedness. Okay? But they fixed it. You see? They knew it was wrong. They knew there was nothing good about that. Okay? And there have been numerous shots and moments and he flies closer to the screen, so he's going to get a lot closer and you're going to see. So there's there's no denying that either they heard it and they've corrected it and they said we're not shooting any other shots like that because that's crazy because we have some sense about us, common sense, or maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe they actually do retain that bulging belly shot in the film. Maybe they do. Maybe this angle is just a little different. And they're trying to say that's what it is. Somebody told me this was what happened with the camera, the wide angle camera shot. Why isn't it bulging at his back then? So why isn't it making him some cylindrical figure? It's bad, is what it is, and that's objectively true, in my opinion. But I think this proves it out here. Yes, I've seen the memes uh, pointing toward the Incredibles villain and the look there. Yes, I've seen it. I don't need to be told about it in the comments unless you just want to say that's hilarious. Uh, but yeah, you can enjoy that all you want to. Let's see, where are we? Personally, I don't like the voice that is portrayed here at this moment. Maybe it's just a moment. Maybe it's just that cut. But to me, it's off. I don't. It sounds like they're trying to make her too hick like. I apologize if that's what you think it ought to be. Uh, More power to you. Uh, Let me know in the comments below. Whatever you think. But let's continue on with this. For a while there, I was looking at this and thought, uh, that's strange. See, great shot, beautiful. I mean, this is awesome. Reminds me of Superman Returns. For a while, I thought his eyes were cocked, like one eye was up here and one eye was down this way. But it's not exactly so. It's just the shot moves by really quick, and he does it. The kaiju does look goofy. It does have like rows of teeth. That's odd. I know there are creatures that have that. Um, I was wanting to say sharks might have that, but anyway, yeah, if you know, let me know in the comments as well. What are those multiple rows of teeth uh, that are in these animals' mouths? What kind of animals are they? Is this a mixture of those things? It looks to me like they changed the coloration of the kaiju. Like they've made it with some more yellows and some brownishness, and I don't know. It seems like the color's been changed. Maybe it's a chameleon like kaiju, so it changes colors on its own, trying to look like that building, and less like the grayer building that it was around before. I don't know. You check it out and see what I'm saying. But this is before the fire bombing, if you will. Okay, so it's not, his suit is not burnt. So this is before the kaiju breathes fire at him. So it's not the end of the kaiju fight, is what I'm saying. Just to put it in those kind of terms. So, but I don't really have a lot of criticisms about this. Other than the dislike I have for the emblem itself, I don't care for this version of this emblem. Kingdom Come is its own thing in the comics, and it has its place. And the version for Flash Crisis or the CW Crisis is I accept it and enjoy what I can out of that. And this doesn't ruin the movie for me, but this to me, is not the Superman logo. It's not iconic, in my opinion. The iconic, the and watch another of my videos. Okay, this only shows up a few times. Okay, there's so many versions of the S that are the classic that looks like John Burns uh, take on Superman. And again, that's what I grew up with. That's going to be the one I'm going to lean toward the entire time anyway. But very 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 few um, of a different sort. So go watch that video and look at all those, and go to that website and look at all the different Superman emblems through the years, and you'll see what I'm trying to say. So to me, it's not classic, and people saying they went back to the classic suit. They certainly didn't do that. The lighter blue is about the only thing that people are actually pointing to. It's not the classic version of the suit. All right. Again, he would look better in the Christopher Reeve spandex version of the Superman outfit, in my humble but correct opinion. All right, let's keep going. If you didn't notice, I must point this out, and props to them. Come on. There we go. Is it Dave, I believe? Dave Reeves? Um, Christopher Reeve's son. If I'm wrong about the name, I apologize. But I think it's David. Um, is there on the news station being broadcast. That is a huge TV. That is a huge TV. If it is in fact a video broadcast and not a still, I wouldn't think this is a still because it looks like it's got the crawl and all that, or the storyline underneath it. So yeah, this is across this entire building that is amazingly huge. That is what I want to watch Superman on. That particular thing. I want to be seated, like right in about in the middle here, um, about the distance of the width of this away from it to be able to see it just right. That would be beautiful, don't you think so? That's better than IMAX right there. But then again, is this an IMAX screen? One, two. Is that like true IMAX theaters are 10 stories high? This is not IMAX frame, though, because it's more square. But, I think that's what I heard from somebody. It's like 10 stories high. And if that's true, then I've not been in a theater that big. And, you know, but I will do what I can. I'll be probably see this in, if it comes out in 3D, I'll probably watch it in 3D. Probably watch the 4DX version of it. Probably watch the IMAX version and the standard version, just to get it from all angles. Because I have watched some of these movies I did not enjoy the IMAX version of it, and then watched it in 3D, and the 3D was better. Like the special effects are better and stuff. This is true of Aquaman 2, the Lost Kingdom. The special effects were better in the 3D version than they were in the standard. And I watched it in IMAX and standard and in 4DX 3D. And yeah, the 3D version of the effects were better. There was something about it that made it look better than watching it in standard. I have to go revisit that movie again. But yeah, we'll try to watch this and all these things. That is, yeah, there he is. This is Superman right there. About to fly up and punch the kaiju. I'm calling him kaiju. Once I find out his name, I'll call him Bob or whatever his name is. So, but yeah, props to them, and shout out to Mr. Reeve, and love Christopher Reeve and appreciate his family. Uh, and hope that they do a really good job with that. Hope that he's doing really well. Um, and we'll leave it at that. And let's keep going. Okay, and you saw that the swatting. We said he just swats his hand. This one of two shots here with Hawk girl, Hawk woman, Hawk Isabella. Um, yeah, let's keep going. Oh, she's in another shot around Mr. Terrific that people were seeming to not they couldn't tell that it was her. I'll maybe try to point that out in a second. Some inexplicable shots. We don't know what's going on with these things. Why are they tell me this is Jimmy? I guess so. Um, why Clark is dancing? What he's doing here? I don't know. Can't tell. He looks excited and happy though, but we have no idea what's happening. And then of course to the next this shot. You see the let me put there. Yeah, it was just ending this firing of the windows by the Hammer of Arabia. So I had it where the beam was still out here some. So he was just doing that. Superman hasn't flown around. This is apparently Miss Tessmacher doing what media people do nowadays, social influencer or whatever it is. Yeah, we're always far too much on our phones. I don't know which phone that is. Somebody can tell me in the comments below, though. But yeah, keep going. This is apparently the authority, or at least people tell me that. So if it's not, I apologize. We won't get into the Dad Bod Superman again, even though I mentioned it. This window apparently is busted out already over here. And of course, this looks like a secretary. Could be, well, I wouldn't say Miss Tessmacher. It's probably Tess Mercer, right? But anyway, whether or not it is, Superman, of course, throwing Lex Luthor's desk. Is this a fish tank? Perhaps it is. I'm not sure if that's just a big screen TV, or if it's a fish tank sitting there behind Lex Luthor. Anyway, nevertheless, whatever it is, Superman's upset and good. It reminds me of some things in John Byrne, where he would come into the building and the Superman of Christopher Reeve comes in, busts the door down, and says, "My attorney will be in touch with you about the damage to the door." Good. Maybe he says something like that. He apparently picked up his coffee before the. Maybe this is just before he puts the coffee back down, sits down, and he throws the desk. I don't know. We don't know. We'll see it then. They've cut enough things out of order that it could be anything, right? These are real quick shots that I'm not going to get into whether or not they're dimensions and stuff like that. But coming out of this circle, which looks like it's the circle that the Hammer Bravia came out of, it looks different than our world. I don't believe it's where all those glass cages are at all, because the glass cages, which harkens me back to the Lego movie when they captured all these people and had them all locked away. It doesn't look the same as that area there to me. If it is, I'll find out then, but I don't think it is. Again, many just shots. Now he flies out of the fire there, and there's mixed reaction to what she said. did she say it the right way? You let me know. Because some people said it sounded like she was very dismissive of him or something like that. But I don't think this is exactly in that moment anyway, right? Because this is like maybe back at the apartment, or is it in the Kent home?
You have a dog?
Hard to say. All right, so now I don't think it says read where it all began. This is where the actual Superman this is where it began. The All Star Superman is not where it began. Does that mean this is where James Gunn got his stuff from? Again, this one, it's not where it began. But anyway, whichever way you want to look at it, um, we'll perhaps find out someday down the line. But I'm gonna stop with that, going back and forth, all the little tidbits that are available. Um, some people are gonna like it. Some people are not. See, the dog is not as long as, or it doesn't seem like the dog is as long as it seemed in that one shot. So anyway, I think we've seen enough of all the rest of this. Um, like I said, these are better. What about these words that are being said? Well, the Lex Luthor thing is fine. That seems to be the way Lex Luthor is going to talk about Superman. Now, all of this to me, um, from all the trailers and all the releases and all this stuff, doesn't sound different in philosophy and in theory than Batman v Superman as far as the background of what it's coming from. You know, there's certain fights that are going on, certain scenery, and it all seems like there's a parallel between the two, Batman v Superman and this, and replace Batman with Ultraman and the Authority if you want to. Um, the concept is what I'm talking about. The concept is there, and the way that James Gunn is dealing and presenting the concept and how it's going to play out is going to be its own thing. It is his own thing. It's not the same as Zack Snyder's version of that concept. Now, I could be wrong, and the concept might be very different and might not be connected in any way, shape, or form, really, ultimately. But right now, it's looking like that. Um, Now, this is the official teaser trailer. I'm not going to go through all these details. The words that Paul Kent gives to him, and we finally got to see Superman smile a few times. So notice the criticisms are drawing out, I think, some different responses. Not necessarily my criticisms, criticisms from um, the fans. So there's a there's always a number of things in these. This I saw in the punch. Um, I can't quite see it there. You see a foot there. That's Metamorpho's foot. Uh, yeah. Metamorpho is sitting there behind him. What this light is, not sure. It seems like the light is in different places. Um, so I'm not going to get into all of those things. I'm not going to dig too much into this. This is the most replayed part. I don't know people getting involved with. Why are they doing that? Not sure. And like I said, this is a different kind of portion. All right, of that scene. There he is getting mad, and you see him yelling. Is it the same shot? I don't think so, because this is after something happens to him with the suit. And if you looked at the other one, his his suit was different. We're looking at Lex Luthor here. I can't tell. Is that the cross striped? Probably, possibly. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that one. That looks like a tuxedo to me. Um, hmm. Nothing much to say about all that. So, we've had the Icon TV spot. There's Superman being blasted with that flame. So we'll see that. We saw part of that close up. He's coming out of that for a second. And this is the sneak peek, the long scene going to the fortress and dealing with those robots, and then essentially the same shots with a little bit of extension in some places. A couple things cut and moved out. All right, again, Paul Kent, what he says. I'm sorry, but I can enjoy a movie and it have the philosophy that I disagree with, and that philosophy I disagree with. What you do, your actions, they they make you who you are. No, that's not true. Yeah, you are not just what you're seen to do and what you show yourself to do. Um, and that I hope you know already. But that is so important. What you do, your actions, what you present yourself in front of others, and here's about where it is.
What makes you
This is not true.
actions?
No, and that's just the fact. The philosophy of that is not correct. So, um, there's a lot to that. In Batman Begins, it's not who I am underneath the mask or inside, but what I do that defines me. Of course, a requote of um, I just lost her name, the Rachel Dawson character. Rachel Dawson, the character Rachel Dawson. So, but no, that's incorrect. It may sound good at first, but it doesn't flow. It doesn't it doesn't work. If there's more to it, what he's saying, then I'm willing to listen and see where he's going with it all, and see if it corrects that flaw. But no, I mean I'm going to stand firm with that, and I hope that you can understand that as well. And if you will, and if you'll, um, uh, you know, don't just take the second, but really think through things as they are presented to you. Both of these, they cut that just at the right time. Um, but if you haven't seen these things, go to the DC YouTube page and check it out. His suit's still bending up around there. It looks a little bit tighter in his arm, though. Um, so there you go. I think that is probably enough. I'm fine with this. I assume that the jumping around in the street is not actually going to happen in the movie, although it could, and I would be fine with it if they did it right. But but yeah, it's not a minute and 12 seconds. It's only about 30 seconds. It looks like the Milk Bone commercial. I'm good with it. Doesn't hurt my feelings. This shot is probably going to, go up to where he gets closer to the screen, and then fade into, title credit. Who knows? Beginning into the movie. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. And he goes over. This is again Ping Pong Flicks. I'm sorry, I don't know his name. I say that, and I did know his first name, and I've forgotten it. It's just been too long since I've heard it. But that's okay. I think it's Chris. Yeah, Chris Wong. Chris Wong. It's been a long time since I heard it. So anyway, he goes over this whole thing, and Supergirl appearance and stuff like that. And I'm not going to get into it. I don't think Supergirl's going to be much in this movie at all, but might be briefly in the movie. Again, you don't see that bulging, curvy version of the shot of the icon commercial. So, see, mistake, shouldn't have been done this way. Now they know. They fixed it. I assume if I see that in the movie, I'm going to be very disappointed. The bulging belly shot. We're going to look at all that. So, tell me what you thought of the trailer. What did you like it? Did you not like it? What do you think about the argument? All of the little things. What is your timeline of these things? Like I said, I've got to go back and revise a little bit of mine to just figure out where they're at. What do you think? What do you think? Are you excited as a Superman fan? Are you intrigued because you want to see how this plays out? If you haven't paid much attention to the behind the scenes and you're excited as a Superman fan, more power to you. I'm happy for you. My position has always been a from behind the scenes look at it the way I understand what's going on and what I believe has happened. Because of all of that, I don't expect good things about this movie. Not that I don't necessarily expect it to be a good movie. I don't expect it to do well enough to justify what it is. Supposed to be a great attempt at a Superman movie, and it just doesn't seem like it's panning out that way. It seems like it's not going to unite the vast majority of the fandom, and make no mistake about it, the vast majority of the fandom is not 100% gung ho James Gunn. They may be 100% for Superman, and a lot of them are overlooking the James Gunn part of it. And the vast majority, though, don't really care that it's James Gunn. It doesn't matter to them. They don't even know who he is. They don't know what it means. Okay, so they don't care. That is the honest truth. The the vast majority of the fans of Superman that are going to watch this movie and put whatever money in the seats that it's going to have, they don't even know who James Gunn is. They're going to see his name in the credits and not care. That doesn't make any difference. This is not like the name Spielberg or George Lucas, where you knew what it was talking about when those names were seen. Okay, that period. That's just a fact. The vast majority don't know, won't know, don't care. But they're going to see the movie and make a decision based on that. Hopefully, they have an enjoyable time. I don't want, I don't want Superman to be not enjoyable. I'm hoping that, against all my predictions, that the movie will be good, that people will enjoy themselves, that it will make enough money so that we keep having superhero films. And at some point down the line, when I'm 60 or 80, then we get another Superman that just blows my mind. Like, that is the greatest Superman of all time. Maybe that'll happen. But it's not working for me right now. And my prediction is it'll be a spectacular failure and not do very well. Who knows what they're going to do right after that? I don't know. I have my suggestions. Uh, when it doesn't happen, hey, Warner Brothers, call me up and, write a note in my little DMs there and say, hey, let's talk to you about Superman. I'll tell you exactly what you should do and what's going to make you billions of dollars if you just listen to what I say. Because I'm saying what fans say, and the real fans that are not just trying to be hyped up and say whatever he does is fine. Whatever this movie comes out to be is fine. But the fans that are looking at the comics and looking at previous iterations even and having a mold of them together can tell you which direction to go. And we know what it is. Anyway, I need to switch this over and let's go there. And we'll just say I should have said a lot of that without being on the blank screen. But again, comment. Let me know what you think about all this. You can like or dislike my video. It doesn't make any difference on that end. What you say is going to make the difference as to other things. And I'll comment maybe back if I can, and have a dialogue with you. And if you come and attack me, then say hi bye. That's enough of that. But other than that, comment. We'll have some thoughtful discussion back and forth. Tell me what comics you like and that sort of thing. What did you grow up on? Do you like the New 52 better than any of this, or the Rebirth and stuff like that? I haven't gotten deeply into most of that stuff, so it's just little bits here and there, and that's all I have to say about all that. It's just that's what I can do as a Superman fan. I'm not the guru Superman fan, the everything know all about it kind of person, and get into all the details. I'm eventually going to get a definitive history encyclopedia or whatever they call that thing, um, when I can afford to do that and be able to look at that and enjoy it. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not the end of it to say, hey, Superman number 72 of the John Burns thing did this and that, and that's the way it's got to be. I'm not that way. So, um, again, let me know what's going on in your thoughts. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, I'd love for you to like and subscribe. Uh, uh, if you didn't enjoy the video, I'd still like you to like it, and just miss that dislike button, hit the like button, and we'll all enjoy life together. But we'll see you again in the next video, probably within the next few weeks, because there's going to be something that releases that I want to talk about, because I love to talk about the Superman stuff. Glad that these things are so long. It keeps either people out that are not interested in paying attention that long, um, but lets people in that really want to see what others have to say. And please play it on 2 speed or 175 or one something to get it by a lot quicker than just regular speed. But I wouldn't want you to endure me for so long that you're sickened by it. So anyway, have a great rest of your day and go Superman. I'm so glad that the character is out there, and regardless of what some people want to hate about it, I'm not getting into all that. That'd be another video entirely. And maybe this will do well. What do you think it's going to do? Uh, I've watched, like I said, many reactions, and there's a lot of hype out there. A lot of, a lot of hype. And then there's a lot of hate. They just jump to hate. And I don't like those kind of things either. It's just like, why do you want to despise so strongly some different things? And it's not necessarily because they like Snyder, because there's one person or one group that hated the Man of Steel movie and hates this, thinks it looks dreadful. It's interesting. So it's interesting to hear that kind of thing come out of people's mouths. So please don't say it's because Snyder. No, that's not the reason. Superman is a great character and an icon, and deserves to be treated right and to be portrayed right and all of that. So, philosophies included, please. So, I'll leave it at that. I just got to cut myself off so I can quit talking. We'll see you later. Bye.